Welcome back to another edition of Blox News. I'm your host, Barrick Eric, and we have a lot to cover today. Starting off, we have the Ducklantian and Vernian War. There's been tales of war profiteering and mercenaries, so both business and private citizen alike here in the NWR have been making great profit, as we are a neutral nation as of now. Ducklantis seems to be putting Inverness on the back foot. While the Invernans were able to hold off the Ducklantian assault on their fort in the very first battle, Ducklantis then repelled a surprise attack on Doggerland that left the tower in a state of disrepair, and has even invaded and now occupy the city of North Detroit. This occupation has caused the Dularondans to capitulate and bow their way out of the war. Inverness now stands alone against Ducklantian forces as they look to march on the capital. Now we're going to send it over to Zachariah Zappi, who has a deeper dive on what's been happening during the war. Thank you, Barrick. Now, this war has brought great profits to the NWR and its people. Many corporations, such as Wandale Robinson Industries, have been shelling out mass amount of munitions to both sides of the war, from selling illegal items to be used in a war, such as wither skulls, to more conventional weapons, such as flamethrowers, TNT cannons, and even just entire shulker boxes of TNT. They've made probably the most amount of diamonds off the war, followed very closely by some private citizens. JO3, to be of note, has fought for both sides of the war in numerous battles now, has been making a killing off of those profits from the mercenary corps. Even President Harpo stepped up and took a full stack of diamonds to fight to help capture the city of North Detroit. Now, it is unclear of the political ramifications that this could have. There's been growing animosity among Wenderpogians for Inverness, as Inverness continues to threaten to both burn down multiple sites within our great city and threatens to bomb and attack the president. This situation is still developing, but we do have an exclusive interview with President Harpo later today. Segueing back into more domestic news, there have been two new towns that have popped up within our borders. Signoro and Xylopotalmo have both shown up over on the northeastern side of the country, just on the other side of the hill that hosts Fort Wenderpog. Signoro is much more of a mining town, while Xylopotalmo seems to be a little bit more of a logging town. It's always nice to see the economy growing and expanding. Arcadia also has been seeing some growth as they now have their very own town hall within the city. The population grew large enough that they felt it needed to be able to have some local representation instead of having to travel all the way back over to Wenderpog City. And now we're going to head over to Frank Fort, who has some news on the World Fair. This is Frank Fort on the scene here at the World Fair, where the World Assembly is paying for booths to pop up themselves. They have agreed to pay Fun Happy to be able to go ahead and give potatoes to the people and set up a booth selling potatoes during the World Fair. They've also announced that the best booth will get a prize. If you are interested in joining the World Fair, contact an admin to get a plot. Back to you, Barrick. Thank you, Frank. Now, there has also been a subway system installed around the city that many citizens have been enjoying. This was bought with Harpo's personal funds, and he said that he did an initiative to make high-end Elytra less of a need to get around the country. Now, this is obviously going to have some economic impact onto his own rocket business, but it should help with the quality of life of the average Wenderpogian. And this is also a good time to announce that there is an election upcoming here soon. Parties must announce who's running for them by 4/23/26 for the election to start taking place. Now, the actual election date, as when the polls close, will also be announced on that day. Hopefully, we'll have another Blox News episode ready for you guys to cover that as well. And now we're going to head right back over to Zachariah Zappi, who has an exclusive interview with the president. Thank you for your time, Mr. President. Mr. President, what is your current view on the state of the world?
I do find it regrettable that we are in a state where multiple nations across this world are at war right now over something so avoidable of just not trying to murder people in a courtroom and not trying to rob priceless artifacts from museums. But that's the state we currently find ourselves in. And I do see glimmers of hope that this conflict will come to an end soon rather than later. but it is a regrettable state of affairs.
To dig into that further, what recent events have you thinking this way?
I mean, like I said, the Prusso-Invernian War is really putting a damper on things. While sure it's great in the short term for the Winterpogian economy, I do worry about the long-term development of the conflict if left unchecked. Especially the actions that Invernians have taken in recent weeks to months of threatening our nation and threatening other nations for simply taking the payments to, be out there as mercenaries during these battles. It is concerning to me.
There are rumors that you might not run for re-election. What do you have to comment on these?
I have no comment on these rumors at this time.
Why are we allowing companies such as Wandale Robinson Industries sell to both sides of the ongoing Ducklantian and Vernon conflict? Is this not a way that we could be hurting our political relations with our allies?
I like to imagine that the world leaders of this world can understand that our private citizens and private companies have their own freedom of will and freedom of commerce, and they can sell to whoever they see fit in their pursuit to continue to make capital. If it does harm any political relations, that's going to be harming relations with an inferior worldview, with an inferior government who can't comprehend that concept.
And what are your thoughts of new Winterpogian Republic weapons being used to take lives during this conflict?
I don't really think that matters that much. Winterpogian weapons have been used through all of history to take lives. They're just a tool being sold. We don't control what people do with these tools.
And there have been rumors around the office and among our sources that the NWR might be taking action in this conflict. I know you held a private referendum among voters. What can you give us as insight into that?
Well, the rumors are true. My cabinet actually were the ones that started the whole rumor, trying to make sure we could fish that question out of you, because I figured Blox News was a good place, if any, to really announce our findings and announce the new Winterpogian Republic's next actions. The big thing that I've always stated through all my presidency is that I am here to protect Winterpog. I am here to do the will of the people. I am here to help this nation thrive. And it's hard to help a nation thrive when the markets get shaky because a certain terroristic inferior group consistently threatens to attack me, our nation, our people, our windows, everything. They threaten to burn down what makes us us. They threaten to harm the identity of Winterpog. They threaten to hurt us as a people rather than trying to actually do anything with their own lives. And obviously this is something that I can't stand for personally. So it is with my duty as the president of the new Winterpog Republic, with the powers invested in me by the people in a historic election, and with the powers invested with this referendum I held privately among citizens, that the new Winterpogian Republic is going to get fully involved as a main member in this conflict, as we are going to be declaring war on Inverness, and we're going to be declaring war to end a terroristic threat that's threatened our people day in and day out. We'll stand in arms with the Ducklantians once again, as we did once before against insurgents, to take down terror. We'll do it again to take down terror once again. So Invernians, this is where I give you your warning that if you live in Inverness, I would leave. We are going to use the full raw power of the Winterpogian military to burn the city to the ground if the Inverness government does not submit and come to the peace table to hear our demands. The city will no longer be standing. It will be a crater in the ground. We plan on using advanced weaponry that has never seen the face of this planet before. We're going to pull out secret, top secret, confidential weapons out of the Wandale Robinson vault that they've been contracted to secrecy for. And the best thing about all of this, as I'm sure you know, Zachariah, they can't use any of the weapons that Wandale sold to them against us, as that would be breaking their contract with Wandale. So they can be invited to try, because then after we get our complete and utter surrender from Inverness, and we get our unconditional surrender. If they do any of that, then Wandale Robinson gets another slice of their pie with a lawsuit right afterwards. But this is where I'll stand on my soapbox, and I'll call to our allies, and I'll call to our citizens to prepare their arms and prepare to help take down this terroristic threat once and for all, so we can destroy what needed to be destroyed. We can finally finish off the only thing that has threatened our peace and our prosperity. We can make sure that Wenderpog continues to be a beacon of peace and a beacon of productivity and prosperity among this world, and we can't do that as long as the Invernian threat exists, and I will stop at nothing to end that threat. Thank you.